You doing?
Yes. Fine, thanks, Jesse. You know, just the way you put it, that love for what you love most. Like now, Jaguar, one thing he has also struck me with Jesse is when he talked about his child and his fans. And when you talk about loving English, I always say, let English be English.
Amazing, Willis. I also hope you had an amazing week. Let's get right into it. And we have a lot of words in store for our viewers back at home. So let's take a look at the Word on the Street Festival.
Hemorrhagic, hemorrhagic, hemorrhagic.
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 Hemorrhagic, 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 hemorrhagic.
Hemorrhagic, hemorrhagic, hemorrhagic.
All right, that's the Word on the Street tonight, Willis. Hemo. I think that's where the contention is. Kindly put it in perspective.
Yes, now you don't say hemo, neither do you say hemo. You actually say hemo, hemorrhagic. That is, in fact, the word is an adjective and it means involving severe loss of blood from inside a person's body. And you can say so and so is down with a hemorrhagic fever. Now, we don't say he, you say he. One thing we must also remember, Jesse, is that this same word has an alternative spelling which is commonly used in American English, where you say or you have Hemorrhagic. So hemorrhagic is the accurate pronunciation of that word, Jesse.
All right, thank you, Willis. Just out of the curiosity, rather, hemoglobin, how do you pronounce that one?
Now, it's great you've asked such a wonderful question, Jesse, and that is why I always say, you know, when I use the word tough, I always know what I mean. When you talk about English phonology, in fact, that is the sound system of English and spelling, you'll realize that we have so many irregularities. Now, you have hemoglobin, but you don't say hemorrhage. You say hemorrhage. Now, you also have the word horse, but you don't say was, you say was. You have had, but you don't say ward, you say hospital, ward. So I'm trying to bring you closer to the irregularities that are there in the English phonology. So in this case, don't say hemoglobin, and then you come to hemorrhagic. Now we have hemorrhagic, not hemorrhagic.
All right, Willis, thank you for that. Really, it was burning right here.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Okay, let's go to the collections of the week. Occurring or operating or done at the same time. The word is an adjective. Simultaneous.
Oh, you say simul. That U is not pronounced. The U in that word is not pronounced. You say simul. So we have what we call the consonant cluster in that part. That is simultaneous. Simultaneous. Just like when you talk about simulcast, that is when we have some, broadcast, which is both on TV and radio or on AM and FM radio. So you say simulcast. You don't say simul or simal. You just say simul because the U is not pronounced. So your word is simultaneous.
Simultaneous. Thank you, Willis, for that. Now, a statement or address made as a farewell. It's a noun, valediction. I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Yes, just it's a bit tricky. It's valid. That E takes the short sound E. So you say valediction.
Okay.
Valediction, just like when you say a valedictory or a valedictory speech. So that E is the tricky part, or that is the tricky letter in that word. It takes the sound E. Valediction.
So valediction, valedictorian, I'm sure they go hand in hand.
Yeah, that is it.
All right.
That is it.
Okay, let's go to the next word. A unit of electric current equal to a flow of 1 coulomb per second an ampere? Is it?
Oh, you say ampere. That is A-M-P-E-R-E.
Yes, Willis.
You say ampere. Ampere.
Ampere. Thank you for that. Now, that was physics. Let's cross over to biology. Reminds me of my botany classes back then. It's a xylem, X-Y-L-E-M, at least according to how my English teacher pronounced it.
That is xylem. Xylem. That X takes the sound Z, what we call the voiced sound Z, like a Z. So you say xylem, just like you say xylophone, not X xylophone. It's xylophone and xenophobia, not X xenophobia. So xylem is the right pronunciation, the way you said it. And you know, that your teachers, I told you the other time, that must have been a very, very tough teacher when it comes to matters English.
You have no idea. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes.
Without a clear, defined shape or form, something that's shapeless, the other word we could use is amorphous. Now, is it amorphous, amorphous?
Yes.
How do you pronounce it?
You say amorphous. Now, Jesse, I want us to share something small here. And I know maybe even somewhere when you walk to certain places, you might have met people, you know, with that kind of notion or thinking. You know, there is this problem whereby when we go for the accurate or the good English pronunciations, sometimes it makes some people think every other word must be having a problem. If Willis says this, like when I said, you say leopard, not leopard. Somebody also told another person that what we now have is maybe we are getting everything wrong. That is not the case. This one is a word that you simply pronounce as amorphous. And in pronunciation, just like in the meanings of words and when you choose words to use in any language, every language is important when it comes to matters communication. So the essence of any language is communication. Don't go for very big words. You may scare, you may amaze, but you may not be communicating. So I always advise people, just get accurate pronunciations and get the right words. If possible, adjust your language to your audience. But Jesse, the word is amorphous.
Amorphous. Thank you, Willis. We'll definitely mind our language. Yes. Now, the next word is a noun. A bullfighter, actually, especially one on horseback. I've seen it in movies. I haven't seen a bullfighter live, if you know what I mean. Is it Toreado? How do you pronounce it?
Yes, that is the way, Toreado. But you have that stress on the first syllable. You say Toreado, a Toreado. Just like you can say Toreados commonly ride on horses as they fight bulls. So it's Toreado with that stress at the onset.
All right, Willis. Now, the next word, the quality of being fanatical. And by fanatical, we definitely mean obsessive, enthusiasm, or zeal. Now, is it fanaticism? Fanaticism?
What we should avoid is saying fanaticism. Fanaticism, no. The way you have stressed the second syllable is the way to go. You say fanaticism, fana. So you realize you say na, fanaticism. That is the way to pronounce that word. Just like you can say the fanaticism of football and rugby supporters.
All right, Willis, let's move over to the next word. It's simple, a female ship. It's spelled E-W-E, but I'm sure there has to be a catch in that particular word. It can't be you. Is it you, perhaps?
You know the way you have said that word. And that is why I always say, Jesse, you and Ashley, in fact, I may plan to sponsor you getting back to your school so that you give a pat on the back to the teachers who taught you English. You say you the way you pronounced that word.
All right, thank you, Willis. Now, over to the next word, smallest meaningful unit in a language. I'll ask you to give us an example of this particular word.
Yes.
Is it morpheme?
Yes, now, when we have, that is M-O-R-P-H-E-M-E.
Yes, Willis.
That is morpheme, morpheme. Now, you see, the way you've explained it, It refers to the smallest unit of meaning in a word that can be divided, the way a word can be divided into those units, the smallest units. Like now when you have the word like has only one meaning. But when you have that prefix and then you add li, like unlikely, you'll have now 3 units in that word which have or carry meaning. So you'll talk of the morphemes. But Jesse, when you come to the smallest unit of speech in any language, now you talk about phonemes. Phonemes. That is P-H-O-N-E-M-E. What we should avoid is phoneme. You say phoneme, and we should also not say morpheme. You say morpheme. And finally, for those who love that word, I always get it quite often, you say meme, not meme.
All right, Willis, very clear clarification there, and I'm sure it has registered in many people's minds. Now, let's cross over to the feedback you have collected throughout the week through your Twitter handle at Willis Ochieng1, right?
Yeah, in fact, that is where to interact with me when you are not with us. So when you are not seeing Ashley, you are not seeing Jesse, and you are not seeing Willis on KTN on Friday night, you can also interact with me on the internet, and that is on Twitter. The handle is at Willis Ochieng1, at Willis Ochieng1. Now, we have Shiro Wakimonge. You say nonchalant. Don't say nonchalant, nonchalant. Mwalimu Kimtai Arap Biama, also known as Ruto, aka it's Lampard of Luya Kwanza. You say carried, harried, buried, and married. Don't say married or married, harried or harried, carried or carried, buried or buried. You say buried, married, harried, and carried, whether you're using it as the past tense or the past participle tense. Now, we have Gabriel. Locally, we like saying Gabriel. Nera Abeda, you say hyena. Don't say hyena. Madam Lily Asanyo of Moi Girls Kazonzo, that is in Coast, you say hyoid. Hy, then oid. Hyoid. Then you have pyorrhea. Hyoid and pyorrhea. Then Mr. Idi Yusuf Yawa. I don't know whether this Yawa is from the lakeside or Yawa is the one of Coast. Yusuf Yawa Idi, you say infinitesimally. Infinitesimally, and your second word is souvenir in English. Maybe French speakers may have a slightly different pronunciation of that word. Madam Fanny's Oduol. I always say the wonderful principal at the wonderful school. Now you say obeying or obeying. We have Annie Ngwende of Kampala, Marianne Mwikali and Steve Owino of Kenya. Oh, thank you. Keep it up. This is KTN Friday briefing every Friday night. You will always love it if you love English. GP Muridhi of Nairobi, you say confiscate. Wakili Edgar Oduol, also of Nairobi. Oh, I salute you too for loving English. Wakili Edgar Oduol. Then Masi Wanjau, you say grotesque. Don't say grotesque, it is grotesque. Then James Wafula and Eddie Makoha of Kakamega, you say stadium. Don't say stadium in English. You say stadium. Don't say stadium or stadium. Please avoid that. And you also say the pharaohs. When you're referring to the Egyptian national team, don't say the pharaohs. You say the pharaohs. Then Linda Charo of Kongowea, Mombasa, and Mohammed Mjomba of Kilifi, you say shepherd. Don't say shepherd. And finally, I have Harrison Kioko of Kadhiani. You say Ismas, choir, and Worcestershire. Don't say Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Very tricky. That is a name from England or from the UK, if you may like it that way. Then Eric Opili, you say expediter, an expediter. Then we go straight now, dear viewers, to the surprise word for tonight. This word is commonly used in chemistry and also in linguistics. In chemistry, it means a measurement of the power of an atom to combine with others. And when you come to linguistics, it means the number of grammatical elements that a verb or any other word combines with in a sentence. And you say valency, valency. You can agree with me that we hear a lot of valency because of what we see. But letter A takes the glide valency. So let us avoid valency that we hear as we grow up locally. Now, when we come to confusing words, dear viewers, we have these two words. I want to begin by cautioning people, because one time I saw one of the followers of this program called Susan Auma Daria of Busia reminded people that we should not, when you are an individual, there is no way you can call yourself an alumni. That is vague. An alumni normally refers to the former male and female students of a school, college, or a university. So don't call yourself an alumni if you are just a person or a single person. Now, or an individual for that matter. When you come up here, we have the plural of the word alumna. And an alumna is a former female student of a school, college, or university. You call that one alumna. But the plural which is used up here, you say alumni. So the upper word, alumni, the lower word is alumni. Alumni refers to both male and female, or former male and female students of a college, a university, or a school for that matter. So please let us always get them right, because if you are in a career of serious communication, maybe you are a lawyer, maybe you are a marketer, maybe a diplomat, maybe a broadcaster and all that, pronouncing words accurately will help you to deliver intended messages very clearly. Now, take a look at this. And this one I want us to try at home again, because somebody sent them and I felt they were very wonderful words. Now, you'll agree with me. Are you trying at home? I know you've said penal, you've said renal, you've said venal. Please avoid that. That letter E takes the long sound E. You say penal. Penal code, not penal code the way we said it locally. Then renal unit. Don't say renal. Then we talk of venal. Venal refers to, in fact, it's the other word or a formal word for corrupt. If you are corrupt, I can say so-and-so is such a venal character. So, venal, renal, and penal. And then finally, you get it only on Mind Your Language, Friday Briefing, and KTN TV. That is the phonetic symbols. But now we have the transcriptions that I promised to demystify for you today or tonight. We have this one. That is the glide ew with a fairly strong but short sound u, that off glide. Ew, just like in argument. Argument or calculate. Calculate. Then we have this one. It's also short but slightly weaker. You have, like, you say bureau. Bureau. It might be followed by assure, that weak vowel sound as an off glide also. Bureau. Or you have the word durable. Durable. Then finally, you also have here the word fabulous. That, when you see this one in a pronunciation guide in a good dictionary, don't get confused. Please, it's the weak way of saying or having that glide ew. Fabulous. Fabulous or soluble. Soluble. So, as I've said, you can always get them on KTN every Friday night, but please also throughout the week, I'm always available for you at Willis Ochieng 1. Otherwise, I'm taking you back to the two hot and tough presenters of Friday Briefing, that is Jesse Rogers and Ashley Mazuri. Back to you, Jesse and Ashley.
All right, thank you, Willis, the word master. It's always a pleasure to get our weekly dose of, proper language. Is it phonetics? Pronunciation, exactly. Irie.
Oh, wow, I'm tempted to say one and shut up, but I won't. Okay, just say it. Anyway,
yeah.
That's where we come to a close here on Friday Briefing. Thank you very much for tuning in. I am Ashley Mazuri. Our sign language interpreter is Demden Evans.
And I'm Jesse Rogers. Have yourself a good night.